All right. So we are just answering some questions about nutrition and how to figure out the nutrition plan and how to not be overwhelmed by the nutrition plan. And I wanted to kind of share some new things that I've been doing that I've learned from the 21 Day Fix. And I think that it actually translates really well to some of these other programs. So first of all, what I was doing before with my nutrition, and I was doing this for maybe about a year or so. I know we've talked about the app MyFitnessPal that's on many of our phones and computers, which is a fantastic app that you can log your food. It counts all the calories if you input the portions correctly. You can even look up foods, and it even shows the breakdown of how much of it is fats, proteins, and carbs. It's a very, very powerful app and very, very simple. And I highly recommend it if you are looking to count your calories. 6 weeks ago, I started with the 21 Day Fix. And for those of you who don't know what that is, for the nutrition plan, it gives you these color-coded containers of different sizes, and each color is for a different kind of food, like your proteins or your starches or fruits or veggies. And it just simply tells you you need to have 4 green containers in a day, and 3 red containers and 2 blue, and you have these teaspoons of like different kinds of healthy fats. And in the book, it gives a food list for what kinds of foods can fit in each one of those containers. And then it's up to the individual person to space out those containers throughout the day in a way that makes sense, that you can kind of fit it in with your life. They do recommend trying to get all the yellow containers, which are the starches, a little bit earlier in the day, rather than having some simple carb plate at night. But that's basically the structure of the nutrition plan for the 21 Day Fix. And honestly, I bought the workout program about 10 months before starting it, and I didn't break into it because I couldn't really get my mind around the whole idea of gauging my food by portions rather than counting my calories. But I decided to put my big boy pants on and try to figure it out. And honestly, in like 10 minutes, it just suddenly clicked, and it was the easiest thing in the world. So I started that, and in 3 weeks, I was getting defined. I lost 8 pounds in 3 weeks, and it was just so easy. In fact, so easy to the point that I ended up staying on the food plan just because it was so easy and it kind of fit in with my life, and I didn't have to worry about logging every single thing that I ate. And there's a couple things that I did differently that I want to share with you guys that I think are kind of the secret of what made it so easy for me. The first thing is, with any program that you do, you're going to have some sort of a food list, like approved foods. I know for P90, it's a little more specified, where they have certain recipes. They do include this thing called Michi's Ladder, which is essentially like a food list, and it gives different tiers of the healthiest food, and then the food that's okay, and then the sometimes food under that. But every program has food lists. So the first thing that I do is I go through that food list and I make my own list from those foods of all of my favorite foods. Now, confession, I'm a really picky eater. I don't eat fish. I know fish is amazing and it's super good for you, and other people like fish, and people who say fish doesn't taste like fish, they try to convince me that, but I don't know. I don't eat fish. But fish is a huge part of a lot of these programs. So, the point is you can substitute foods for other foods. So I end up eating a lot of poultry and a lot of chicken, and I'm getting my protein in other ways. So however, there are some foods that I have kind of trained myself to eat that were new to me. When I was a kid, I was allergic to eggs. I broke out into hives, so I never developed a taste for eggs. But as soon as I started P90X 4 years ago, I saw, there's all these eggs, and what am I going to do for breakfast? Because usually what I do for breakfast is like breads and cereals, and no protein. So little by little, I trained myself to eat eggs, and now I eat eggs. And so the point of that is that sometimes there are some foods that you may not like, that may not be your favorite, but if you understand why you're doing this and you see your target, like where you want to go, and you see these are some things that I need to jump over to be able to get to that target, then it makes it a whole lot easier to say, like, I'm just going to force myself to take one bite today. And, maybe I'll experiment with different spices or different ways to prepare the food. And over time, my taste buds changed. And there are foods that I never ate before that I actually like today. I have been known to even gnaw on raw broccoli. And I feel good about it afterwards. So the thing is with these food lists, so you write down all of the foods that you like, that you think like, yeah, I could eat this for the next couple weeks and I'd be fine. And then you figure out your calorie target, and every one of our programs has like an equation to figure out what your calorie target is. And within that calorie target, or it will be a range, it will tell you how many servings of each kind of food will make up that calorie target. So I literally spell out one day of what that, what foods I would need to eat in a day that would make that calorie target. And here's the secret. And I've talked to a lot of very successful fitness people about this, and they all say the very same thing. And that is they eat pretty much the same food almost every day. That's the secret. Because if you are reinventing the wheel every single day and you are having to log in an app, oh, I ate this, oh, I ate that, oh, I never eat this, but oh, I wonder how many calories is this, and what kind of category is this food? If you have to figure that out 5 times a day, every day, it's completely overwhelming. Like, I can't imagine how overwhelming that would be. So the secret is you figure out what one perfect day looks like, so that like, if I were to eat this for breakfast, this is my snack, this is my lunch, snack, and dinner, and if I follow through with that and have all my water for the day, then at the end of the day, I can check off and I can say, yes, that was a perfect eating day. And the very first time that I had that for myself, it was just this incredible feeling that that you did every single thing possible to get closer to your goal. So what I did was I took that perfect day and I wrote out exactly what I need to eat for each one of those meals. And I took a picture of it, a screen capture, and I put it on my phone as the lock screen. And I'll show you what I did. I don't know if you can see that. So now this time, every time I open my phone, I see like, oh, this is what I have to eat for the next meal. Or if I'm wondering, like the first couple weeks of 21 Day Fix, it took a while to kind of remember, like, what is my pattern? If I'm wondering, what should I have for lunch? How many servings of this or how many servings of that? I didn't have to go like scouring through a book or like looking up some sort of Word document on a computer and trying to figure that out. All of those extra steps are going to make it harder for you, and it's less sustainable. So you need to figure out a way to make it as smooth and effortless as possible, where you're making as few decisions as possible. So for me, that was about putting it on my phone lock screen. For other people, it's about writing it on a Post-it note and sticking that to the refrigerator, or putting it on some sort of document and you have it like next to you at work, so that you are constantly being mindful of what's coming next, and that way you don't feel like a victim of circumstances of like, oh, I don't remember what I need to eat next. Like, you are in control and you have the power and you have that time to kind of think about and prepare what happens next. Instead, kind of to sum it all up, instead of spending all of your time counting calories and figuring it out new every single day. What I recommend is figure out what is one perfect day, like how much of each kind of food and when during the day do you need to eat that, and then write it down and do it and eat it, and just know that for the next day, let's say, some people don't like eating the same foods every day. We all get kind of tired of things, and it's not great for your body to eat only the same foods every day also. So you do need to diversify things. So all you do is, for, let's say, one of the things that you're eating is like a cup of brown rice. And let's say that day you don't want to eat that cup of brown rice. So then you go to your food list and you look at all of your favorite foods and you see, well, what other foods are on that list that I can have instead of that cup of brown rice? And then you see, oh, it's a cup of sweet potatoes, or, it's like black beans or something. And you just substitute it out. And instead of substituting every single thing that you're eating for the entire day, sub out a couple things just to kind of give some freshness. But that still gives you the sense of control so that things aren't constantly changing for you. So that's what's been making nutrition like incredibly easy for me over the last couple weeks and or month and a half, actually. And I'm curious to actually start putting that into the Body Beast nutrition plan, because that's like a whole other issue. It's a lot of food, and there are more categories of different kinds of food within that nutrition plan. But bottom line, don't count calories. Just find your portion size and stick to it, and sub when you need some variety. I'm curious to know, from anyone else, like, what life hacks have you discovered that have been making nutrition work well for you? Feel free to jump in.
I actually have a question regarding the containers, because when I'm cooking for myself, I think that would be really easy to do, but a lot of times I'm not. And I found success with what I was doing with eating salads out in Chipotle. So, and I can't necessarily like bring them the container and be like, hey, no.
Stop.
Yeah. So what is your recommendation for when you're out?
Yeah. So here's the thing. After about 3 or 4 days on the nutrition plan, you kind of got to reorient what your food should look like on the plate. So, there can come a time where you don't have to pull out your container every single time to see, oh, this is how much meat should be on my plate. So, you can go out to a restaurant and you can kind of look at your plate and you can say, like, of course, restaurants always give you way more portions than you should be eating. So you can, eat some of it, eat the portion that works for you, and then save the rest for later. Saves money that way too.
Yeah, Michael, with going out to eat too, I was just going to say, when John and I, we don't go out to eat very often at all, but anytime that we do, we always split whatever we have. So, because pretty much they're always going to give you twice as much food as you really need. So it's also cost effective, but when we go out to eat, we always just split whatever we have, and it's usually a really good portion, and we never feel stuffed. So, but going back to the 21 days, we definitely eat the same things Monday through Friday, and then we just change it up on the weekends. And so that kind of is a great way for us to work it, so that we know we're eating the same things, we know we're getting enough in during the week, but we'll use the weekend when we have a little bit more time, because we're not having to work, kind of have a little bit more fun with what we have. So, and that seems to work really well for us.
Yeah, that's right on.
The one thing, excuse me, the one thing that I would add in regards to the healthy fats, so often when you go out to eat, it's not necessarily healthy fats that is cooked in. And to be very specific, if you're ordering at a place, Um, don't assume that the vegetables are steamed. They're probably sauteed in a pound of butter. Um, exaggerating, obviously, but they're typically sauteed in butter. And most places are accommodating if you ask them, but just don't assume. And on that same note, in terms of the healthy fats, I notice that if I'm not getting enough healthy fats in my daily intake, that I get headaches if I don't get enough healthy fats. So, that listen to your body, understand, that's part of also keeping track of what you're consuming. You can go back and say, okay, what was it about today? Was it just because work was stressful, or was it because I didn't get the proper fueling for my body?
Yeah. I know for a lot of us, under eating is actually more of an issue than overeating, especially when you start a workout program, and a lot of us have tried diets before that are all about calorie restriction and kind of starving yourself. And what we realize is that when you're eating healthy foods, to get the proper number of calories, it's a lot of food. Like, it's just a big volume of food. So I'd love to kind of circle back around to Sandy and just hear, what do you think about what I just said? Does that make sense? And what questions do you have? And then let's, even if it's just you and me offline, I want to make sure that you have outlined what one perfect day looks like for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like you're talking about I spend a lot of times looking back at the books, looking up the calories. I spend a lot of time there, going back and forth and, racking my brain and trying to figure out this and trying to figure out that and, say, okay, if I eat this much, okay, I'm eating this much, and trying to figure out the calories. I'm wondering if maybe the 21-day diet, plan is that the containers might be better for me than doing the calorie target.
Yeah.
Because like for breakfast, 2 hard-boiled eggs. Well, in order to make up my protein, I do 4 hard-boiled eggs and a slice of whole grain toast. So, but I'm just not sure. But what you just said makes a lot of sense, And let me see. I haven't really had time to have just like a perfect day, because between home and between work and just shoving everything in a bag thinking, okay, this is everything I need, and I ate throughout the day. It kept me full and stuff. And I came home and it's like, I can't eat no more, So it's like, oh my God, 2,100 calories is a lot. But I don't know.
Yeah, so Sandy, let's work one-on-one offline to look at exactly how we can kind of translate that idea of the containers into your target.
Okay.
I think that's going to make it so much easier. And once you see this is what a perfect day looks like, then it's going to be so much easier to kind of shift things around to make it work within your work schedule and your lifestyle, and be so much less overwhelming. But I'm glad that makes sense.
Yeah, because, when I can pack food and I can take it to work and I'm at the register, and it's hard for me to snack and to eat because I'm constantly touching money. I'm constantly doing this and that and, tons of hand sanitizer all the time. And, even though I do a forks, it's just very hard because I have to put my food in the drawer. And by the time I even try to take a bite, there comes the next customer. And that makes it really hard on me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, but I could use a lot of input. I really could.
Well, the good news is this week you didn't have the milk duds and the candy bars and the sodas and all of that. I mean, just cutting that out alone, you would, if you did nothing else, like you would see a huge difference, after a couple weeks of that. So that's a huge triumph.
Yeah, and that was my daily routine at work.
Yep.
3-4 days, I'd go in there, my box of milk duds and everything. I just, my fruit pies. I had to have everything. Every time I was so hungry, I would turn towards all of that,
Yeah.
And I love my milk duds, but yeah, I haven't had it in over almost 2 weeks. So, but
good for you. Good.
Yeah.
For you. I guess you ordered the program. That's when you cut it out.
And then just looking at the calorie, it blows my mind, because looking at the calorie count, on the back of the fruit pie, 490, calories, 200 from fat. I'm like, oh my God, 4 of these, I hit my target, and it just blew my mind away. Like these honey buns too, these people buy, and it's like so much calories and so much fat in there and so much icing, and it's like, wow, and I know that's not the good stuff, but it tastes good, but that's about it.
Yeah. Just about the whole idea of hunger, I've been thinking a lot about that, and kind of one thing that I've noticed is, recently I've been doing my workouts in the morning, and I've been doing it fasted. Like I won't eat before my workouts, and it's actually been working really well for me. And I've noticed that, there are times when I would go to bed hungry. Maybe I had my last meal at like 7:30, and I closed the kitchen from there on out. And I would feel like, if I wake up hungry, I don't know if I'll have enough energy to do my workout. And what I noticed was that I would actually wake up and I wouldn't be hungry. And I would just feel just satisfied, like energetic and fine and light. And there's all sorts of reasons why that's the case. Like if you're digesting while you're sleeping, then those two systems are warring against each other, and it makes your sleep less effective, so your body doesn't repair. You wake up less rested because of that. So there's all sorts of reasons why it's really good to kind of close the kitchen about 3 hours before you go to sleep. But what I realized was that the sensation of hunger is not necessarily a product of just having an empty stomach. It's actually more connected to blood sugar levels. And if you eat certain kinds of foods that are like sugary, or even any kind of carbohydrates or whatever, your blood sugar is going to go up naturally, and then after a period of time it's going to come down. And when that blood sugar comes down, that triggers all these hormones in the brain to say, we need to eat, we need to lift that blood sugar level up. And what I've realized is that, at the end of the day, if I've had one of those perfect eating days and I still feel hungry, it's not because I haven't eaten enough or I haven't eaten right. Maybe I need to have some more water, and it kind of fills that out. But I'm not going to die. It's not the end of the world. If I go to sleep a little hungry, it's not going to be the end of the world. And actually, the next morning, the blood sugar hasn't had a chance to even out, and I feel fine and I feel energetic. And there has never been a time when I've woken up and taken a look at like whatever brownies might be out and been been regretful that I didn't eat it. I've always been like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't eat that. There's never been a time when I've regretted not eating it. Because I had enough energy, and I woke up actually feeling a lot better than I knew that I would have otherwise.
Right.
So,
and then at nighttime, I was still hungry, so I would flour tortillas. My weak spot. I'd have 3 flour tortillas with butter, 3 flour tortillas with cheese before I'd go to bed, you know. And I still wake up hungry the next morning. And then my husband, like, when I told him about this program that I was doing, he's like, so we can't go out to eat no more? I was like, no, because I'm not sure how to go about when to go out to a restaurant and stuff. And like I said, I can eat fish, but it's got to be Tony's fried fish with tons of lemon and hot sauce.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can eat the fish. My other question was, like, I had just bought a big old container, because I love cottage cheese and pineapple. And I had just bought a big container of pineapple chunks, because I squeezed the juice out of it and I added to my cottage cheese. So I didn't know whether I could still have that. I know, it's supposed to be fresh fruit.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's my other question.
Yeah. Cottage cheese is an excellent source of protein, and pineapple, in addition to giving energy, it also has some fiber in it as well. The thing about fruits is that fruits and vegetables are excellent, and fruits are fantastic. Don't let anybody tell you you shouldn't ever eat fruits, because they do have some sugar in it, but they also have fiber. But it is important to be moderate about the amount of fruits, and citrus fruits have a higher glycemic index, so they're going to make your blood sugar really spike very high and then drop really fast, so you're going to feel that. But if you so like a lot of citrus fruits are like that, bananas are like that as well, but other fruits that are lower in the glycemic index, like berries and apples, melons, all of those, they're not going to spike your blood sugar nearly as much. So, we'll look at your food plan and see how many portions of fruits can you have during the day, and we'll just space those out so that you're able to eat those fruits at times of the day that you feel like you really need your fruit. So, yeah, great question. And as far as going out to eat, yes, we can go out to eat. In the beginning, you may feel like it's a bit of an adjustment of kind of figuring out what your food should look like on the plate. But the whole reason we're doing this is to give us a better life, and not to feel like we are bound and like we are victims or being put in jail or being punished or disciplined or anything. The whole reason is so that you can feel energetic and have just the confidence and energy in yourself to live the life that you want and to be really happy.
Right. And like I said, I had just bought that big can from Sam's of pineapple chunks. Do I throw it out? Can I use it? What?
Yeah. No, you can use it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just use it in small portions.
Right. And I had like a cottage cheese. I love cottage cheese.
Yeah.
But it's, 2%. And I saw that on my food group, it said 1% cottage cheese. So, but I already bought it, and then slow fat, and I stick to the 1 cup. But my other question was, do I count the calories in the book, or do I do it on the back of the nutrition facts of my, like the cottage cheese?
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at your portion sizes so that you can say, like, I need, this size of cottage cheese. And I don't want you to even think about counting calories, because if you're eating the right size of the right kinds of foods, you're going to get to the proper number of calories, and it's going to be less overwhelming.
Okay, yeah, that's. I think that would be easier on me. And I am keeping a log of everything that I eat. Like day 1, day 2, day 3. And stuff like that. I am keeping a log. Yesterday, my brother-in-law, he baked chicken wings. He made them into hot wings, right? I had 1 wing. I woke up, my feet swollen, just bad today. It was so salty. It was nasty. It's like, oh my God, I'm not going to eat wings no more.
Yeah, you're going to find that you're going to be really sensitive to.
Well, yeah, because I haven't had, all that. I haven't had none of that stuff, no salt for the past week or anything. And then just that, just that piece that I had, it's like, holy moly, your body can tell the difference.
Very true. Very true. Well, good. Well, I think this has been a really great call, and it's getting to be about time to wrap it up. But I want to thank you all for taking the time and sharing. And I just want to encourage you to make this week count, so that you are fully energized and ready to take on this week. I know that you can do it, and keep checking in with the RAMP groups for support. Even if things aren't going well, the best thing to do is stay connected no matter what, because we're here to support you, and we want what you want in the end. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night. And Sandy, let's just if you have some time, let's just one-on-one. If we can message back and forth, we'll have the perfect day.
Sure. Yeah, because I'll be doing like almost 2 workouts. I'm going to be doing the pile, and then I'll be going to the Y also. So,
okay, so we can talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing that because of my, my knee problem that I'm having. So I have to go and do like the physical therapy part.
Right.
So.
Right. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, folks. Have a great night. And
you too. I must tell you, don't shave the beard off. Leave your hair the way it is.
Back of my head.
Yeah, no patch.
Right.
No patch.
All right, Sandy spoken. That's gonna happen. That was a joke for everyone. So, okay. Have a good night. We'll see you later.
Good night, Michael.
Bye.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Good night, guys.